Welcome to the next video in our series of getting deeper into the B2B target market and trying to figure out what it means, what to do with it, and how we can make the most of it. So today what we're talking about is how to analyze market trends and why it matters. So each market is constantly shifting, constantly changing. Anything from legislative to supply chain issues to new employees, turnover, consolidations, mergers, divestitures. A lot of different things are going to be happening. Your company could be growing, shrinking, right sizing. Take your pick. So what do we want to do? First, let's start with trade associations, industry associations. These are great sources for information, right? They're close to the topic. They're going to be in touch with the political landscape. They're going to be in touch with the economic environments. Now, this is a top-down approach, right? So you want to know what's happening at the big level, but what's happening in one part of the country might not affect your part of the country. It might, but it's a good way to start. So now we're getting a picture of what's happening everywhere. We're going to localize it because where your company is actually doing business is your market. So if you're doing business across the whole US, you could still have various market changes in different parts. But predominantly, let's say you're a medium-sized business, you're doing business in a third of the US, right? So we're talking 15, 30 states, whatever you want it to be. Your market is going to change based on what's happening there locally, whether it's geopolitical or whether it is employees, growth, R&D, competition. Why do you want to do this? Well, it's easy. So we're going to start on this big curve, right? So we have no information. Things are changing really fast. And it's just like a wave. You have to be ready for it before it hits. If you know legislation passed and in 2 years, something is being implemented that will change your customers' lives, you need to prepare for it now, because if they prepare for it early and you aren't, you're now mismatched and they might leave you because you're clearly showing that you don't know their industry or that you care. This is a great example of something that is a known quantity or entity has to be addressed. If you address it up front, you're probably going to be just fine. However, if you assume or pretend that it does not affect you, it could come back to hurt you. Now, if we're talking about products and we need to do research and development, AI is a big topic right now. However, previously, we knew that the internet, the computer side of things, as we get into data processing, R&D, the ability to do rapid prototyping, custom 3D printing, we have all these things that have been shifting over the last several years to decades. Right? A lot of these things have actually been capable for a while, but as they're hitting right now, if you're seeing this for the first time, you're way behind, and getting caught up is really difficult. Whenever I was looking at some statistics for different firms that were doing some professional services that I really try to focus on, 60% expected all the technological products and services to be ready out of the gate and highly efficient. About 28% were ready to change to a new accountant any point in time, on average, right? So 28% of the market was ready to change. 60% expected you to have everything ready to go. However, something like 75% of accountants, their biggest issue was dealing with legal updates to changing tax codes. So you have this mixture of, here's what the client needs, here's what we have to do, and here's what the client expects. So you need to take all of those things and put them together. Now, if you have created kind of a buyer persona right here, we're asking great questions, we've segmented our product and service down to the right area, that conversation is going to be a little bit easier than it is finding out for the first time that, hey, this is going to affect me over here, but it's not going to affect you, so we're just going to skip it. It's not how we want to approach things. We really want to hit a win-win discovery approach. So I want to know everything that is impacting your organization and how we can take that same issue, provide a solution that also results in a better outcome for you than if we had implemented anything else. That's the ideal solution that we're looking for. But these are deep questions that take a little bit of time. You have to ask a lot. And this is all part of analyzing that market and the market trends. So if you're analyzing the data and you find out that something is increasing or decreasing, you can make changes. But if you're not checking into that data to see what's really happening, maybe your pricing structure is completely at odds with what they can get. Or if you've implemented a pricing structure that doesn't match anything close to a competitor's, and it does not have to, but sometimes it'll take more explanation and education to really try and show that same amount of value. This is what we want to try and discover. This is why we want to analyze data and know exactly what people are doing, because if they didn't choose us, we want to know what else they chose and why. And this allows us to do continual iterations of feedback and improvement. So analyze your market, do the local market, you can do the global market, but you need to know what's changing so you can stay ahead of the curve. Thanks again, and we're going to check out some more videos on getting into your target market.